In a small country north of Australia, a teenage boy dreams of becoming a doctor. The country is East Timor, Australia's nearest neighbour and one of the poorest nations on earth. The teenage boy is 17-year-old Norberto. He's strong, healthy and intelligent, but until now, Norberto has been unable to fulfil his dream of becoming a doctor. He's blind, his vision taken from him by cataracts.
He stopped it in the 3rd class. He stopped because he couldn't see, so he only at the home for 3 years, because now he's 12 years now.
In Australia, his cataracts would be removed by doctors in a simple procedure taking less than 20 minutes. In East Timor, he's condemned to a life of darkness and must rely on others to help him walk, dress and even gather food. Norberto is one of thousands of people in East Timor who suffer from cataracts, a build-up of protein in the eye which gradually steals a person's sight and, with it, their independence.
People who are partially sighted or people who are blind have got lower life expectancy. They often have a low socioeconomic status and also have higher morbidity, which means they're more prone to falls and things like that. The way blind people are treated in different cultures is different. Over here, when somebody is blind, it's the family that looks after them. But not being a productive member of the family, they're often assigned a place in the house where they are fed and clothed, but that's about it.
Since 2000, a team of Australian volunteers has been giving the gift of sight to the people of East Timor. East Timor Eye Program founder Dr Nitin Verma first went to the capital Dili in the wake of the violence that erupted after East Timor voted to become an independent nation in 1999. When the ruling Indonesian authorities withdrew after the independence referendum, chaos remained. Buildings had been destroyed and specialist medical services were non-existent. East Timor had to build a nation from the ground up. This was the East Timor that Nitin Verma first encountered, and he was shocked to see the high rates of preventable or easily treatable diseases and conditions. With his specialist eye training, his way of contributing to the rebuilding of East Timor was to marshal his Australian colleagues to donate their time and expertise.
It really started off as a humanitarian response to a crisis. And I used to see the Timorese refugees in Darwin, and I realized, I said, if these people are here, there must be thousands in Timor still. We were just handling the results of the violence. We were looking at cataracts that were left untreated for a long time. And we were just a group of volunteers, got together, came. We got support from the community, we got support from the Royal Darwin Hospital, from Red Cross, from Mothers Union, from just about anybody who took a fancy to this. And then with these humble beginnings, we went further and further, and initially concentrated on Dili, and then slowly started moving out into the districts. I think it was then that the Timorese government realized that this could be the backbone or the foundation of a long-term strategy for delivery of health care, especially in the eye sector here.
The East Timor Eye Program now involves volunteers from all over Australia, doctors, nurses and others, and treats hundreds of patients every year. Most of this work is removing cataracts.
These are all the lenses that we put into the eyes. When they have a cataract, it means that the lens in their eye is opaque and you can't see through it. Instead of being clear lens like your camera lens, it gets all black and horrible. And so we take the lens out and we put one of these intraocular lenses in.
While in Western countries like Australia, cataracts are primarily a condition affecting older people, in East Timor, even very young children are affected by preventable eye disorders. Here, disease is undiscriminating. 11-year-old Adiko hasn't been to school for a year because he has cataracts and is blind in both eyes. 66-year-old Zhao has lost quality of life and dignity through blindness. Infant mortality is high and maternal health is often poor. These premature babies may have survived the stress of birth, but their vision is at risk too.
If you're born too soon, that means they're immature vessels, and the immature vessels are very sensitive to oxygen. And if you get too much oxygen, then the growth stops, and you get a condition where they get too many blood vessels, and it pulls on the retina and blinds the child. And we call it blindness of prematurity.
The East Timor Eye Program is very unique, credible, made by serious people who have been committed now for 10 years, and they give the gift of light, of sight, to human beings who otherwise would not see the colors of the country, the skies, the stars, the faces of their grandchildren, their wives, their husbands. So nothing is more precious than having an eyesight, and nothing makes an individual happier than recovering a lost eyesight.
But the project is about much more than treating patients. One of its main aims is to help develop specialist medical capacity within East Timor.
The long-term objective is to make ourselves redundant. The long-term objective is to actually leave, but leave only when we feel that the program is stable enough, solid enough to sort of keep going on its own. And that's what we're working towards.
The program has overseen training of East Timor's first qualified ophthalmologist, Dr Marcelino Correia. His path was difficult, and Marcelino faced additional challenges such as studying with a group of Western students when English was not his first language. Many times he felt he would not make it.
He's had his ups and downs because he was up against the Australian cohort. He did the same exams as they did. And English not being his first language was quite a challenge. And I think there were times when he was frustrated, was willing to give up. And we just carried on. And I suppose I'm just that kind of guy. Once I start something, I want to see it finished. It's nice to see it finished. And Marcelino also went through that.
Nitin always encouraged me. He said that don't give up. Do it, because nothing in the life is easy. So it's good things for me to start, to try to continue to do it. So yeah, he's always support me. He's always looking for something that's good for me.
Today, Dr Marcelino is changing the lives of his fellow East Timorese. His training means he can care for patients after the Australian doctors go home. But when they return, he works alongside them. Hundreds of people come to the clinic at Dili's hospital every time the Australian doctors are in town, and the good results can be seen everywhere you turn.
So 3 years he just stay at home, nothing to do because he's blind. So now he's happy, he can see clear, even he's feel a little bit dizziness, but now he can see compared with before operation. 3 years, 20 days, he counted.
The cataract itself, or low vision itself, once corrected with cataract surgery, changes a person's life dramatically. Not only do they get their independence, their self-esteem, but they also become productive members of the family. And so their status goes up. I have actually seen people who come back after bilateral cataract surgery having put on weight because now they can feed themselves. And so on. So it does change a person's life dramatically.
Eye surgery in East Timor is not without its challenges. Much of the country's medical infrastructure was destroyed in 1999 as Indonesia withdrew from the country after 25 years of occupation. Before each visit, the Australian doctors prepare and pack equipment at home. Almost everything they need to treat patients, they bring with them. Larger items are left behind in a makeshift storeroom that's a vital part of the way the program operates.
In this container we store all the gear we need, not only for Dili but also for the outreach visits as well, and it's never big enough. Much of the material is donated goods from companies in Australia and from donors, and some of the materials also belong to the team. The shipping container is the place that we go to first, and it's also the place that we're at last to make sure it's ready for the next visit.
Facilities are improving now, but there's the occasional reminder that the medical team isn't working in the well-equipped Australian centres they're used to.
The lamp's gone in the mic, so we'll just get another mic in. At least we're in Dili where we can wheel in another microscope. In a kusi or mabisi. The girls get the torch. You keep going with the torch. We've got luxury here.
Over the past decade, the eye team has gelled into a well-oiled machine, its members chosen for their ability to work well as a unit and to adapt to being out of their comfort zone.
It's almost like being put in the deep end, and a lot of people who in their work are very highly respected and placed in various countries come here, and this is a real test of their personality, this is a real test of their professional knowledge, and what I believe is that there's so much we don't know, and if one can admit that, you can come here. Because you've seen the kind of cases we have to deal with inadequate facilities. You can't just order a scan or an MRI, or you've just got these eyes and a slit lamp to perhaps look and make a diagnosis. And, haven't you've seen us quite often all consulting, and people are of different ages and different experiences here, but we all put our heads together to try and find a solution to the problem, which is the aim of being here.
When I used to first come here, I used to charge in and do all this thing, but it actually is counterproductive in the end. They have their own systems of getting the chart, getting the drops, and it all works. So the first thing is to put your frustration on the back seat and go with the flow. That's just the way it is in the morning here. Here I am leaning against a wall and just bidding my time.
As well as the gift of sight, the Australian medical staff bring with them compassion, humour and respect for the people of East Timor, who've retained their dignity in the face of adversity. Language barriers don't matter here. Genuine care and comfort don't need translation.
I want your bottom here. No, head's up there. Okay, Diak.
The eye team has a vision of a self-supporting East Timor, a vision shared by the leaders of this country.
I believe that in a few years from now, there will not be a single East Timorese who does not have 3 meals a day, clean water. There is not a single East Timorese child who doesn't have a school to go, textbooks, and hopefully a computer and electricity at home or in the school, and they continue to live in peace and security and freedom.
Among those who will be part of a brighter future for East Timor is Norberto, the teenager whose dreams of being a doctor will only be realised if his vision is restored and he can resume his education.
Good?
Good.
0 to 100 for this boy. Nothing a week ago.
Yeah, so now he's happy.
He can count fingers, he can see Marcelino's face, he can see his surgeon's face. What more do you want?
At the end of each visit, the members of the East Timor Eye Project prepare to return to their homes, their families and the Australian way of life. Each time they leave, it's a little wrenching.
The trips we do, we often do with a core of the same people, and so you look forward to meeting them again, and it becomes like a second family,
But each departure brings with it the satisfaction of having left the country a little bit better and individuals profoundly changed.
We do see a lot of individual success stories where this person was blind and became good. And even though you've seen so many of them, each one is still special.
For 17-year-old Norberto, this week will change his life. The shy teenager who was led in blind will be given a chance at a new life. He is a symbol of what's possible in this beautiful country. A small miracle has occurred this week. A young man has emerged from a life of darkness. Like East Timor, his future looks bright.